Monaco 2025. Every year, I get excited, I tune in, I get pumped up, I watch the quali, and every year I walk away disappointed, and I get G to do it again every single other year. Is this the curse of Monaco? Hello, guys, how are we?
Hey guys.
Very
Good.
good, very good. I think you speak for all of us, Mike, in that the anticipation is great, and often the product delivered is
It does.
less great.
The hype around the event it never fails to deliver the spectacle, right? And the tradition, the grandeur, all of that. Like if they held the thing at La Perouse, no one would give a shit. But Monaco is just such a stunning setting and such a great race, but it just failed to deliver as it has for so long now.
Monaco ends on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
Sunday's
yeah.
just there as the prequel, sequel, whatever to accompany it.
Yeah.
It's the procession where we drink Maui and Brute and enjoy ourselves, but we already know the result.
Right.
Hmm.
I think it'd be pretty fun if you were on one of those yachts. I don't think they got their money's worth.
The people who
Wow.
actually go to the race, they're on a yacht. I'm
Yeah,
sure they have the
right.
best. They have the best time. If
The best
you're-
time.
Yeah.
They don't care at all what's going on. But for us hardcore Formula One fans, it failed to deliver for yet another year. In fact, it was almost a farce. I mean, I give credit to the F1 organizers. They tried to do something different. They implemented a compulsory two-stop race. A lot of the teams took advantage of it, and a lot of the other teams just gamed it. Mike, Chris, you guys want to give a quick summary of how they gamed it? First, Red Bull.
Well, I think the thing is you can't out-strategize really well-paid, full-time strategists. Like these guys, that's their whole job is to
Yeah,
punch the
yeah.
numbers and work out all the possibilities of what could happen. And the FIA is, sort of clutching at straws, trying to work out what they can do. But the teams are always going to be smarter. The teams will always work out a way.
Yeah.
So they're not, it's not the team's jobs to make it interesting. They're just looking for success. But yeah, I'm not bagging the FIA, trying to bag the FIA too much. They did try, but I
They
think
did
we can
try.
all recognize it was a
So-
failure. Like it didn't work.
For people that didn't catch the race, what happened is the Racing Bulls backed up the field so that they could give each of their alternating drivers a free pit stop, essentially. And then Williams followed in suit, backing up the field. And what is normally a very slow procession became a crawling procession because obviously Monaco, no overtaking possible. What was hoped, I think, with the FIA is that at least with the pit stops, we would get undertaking and overtaking and open racing and open air, and that we'd see the speed, exhibited that way. But instead, the opposite happened. Mike?
Yeah, I thought I thought a number of people would stop on lap one, and Yuki Tsunoda did, and I thought they'd basically in free air get a free pit stop. But
Yeah.
I think those guys were never going to get points anyway, so it was brave strategy. But the guys who were actually in the points were the one that were in traffic, and they weren't willing to take that risk and pit early, and they just ended up doing what they did. They created a gap. Racing Bulls did, the Williams did, and just by driving processionally slow, they were able to create an artificial gap for their teammate to stop into.
Yeah, and it killed everything. I mean, even Val's messaged Toto and apologized live during the race. Did you guys catch that?
No, I didn't
didn't see that.
to
No.
me.
He texted his ex-boss Toto saying, "I'm sorry." Like Toto held it up in the press conference saying, "Look, the prick,
Yeah.
he knows
Yeah.
he's wrong. He knows he is in the wrong."
My child.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, what's going on here? What can Monaco do? I mean, we'll get into this later.
I think there are lots of, I suppose, theories, but I don't think anyone's got the answer. I think they interviewed the drivers. I think Hulkenberg came up with a sprinkler system, or Russell came up with,
Yeah.
they can put sprinklers. So
Mario
Well,
Kart.
Max came up with throwing banana peels at the other cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is
I mean-
crazy. I mean, Does it need changing? Does Monaco need changing? Is Monaco fine the way it is? Is just this blue ribbon event where the beautiful people come and we just show off these cars next to the yachts and the supermodels? Like, in other words, is it too established to ever change? Is it going to ever change?
The track won't change, but the cars can. It comes down to the cars. The car, no one likes the current car. The way that it's so hard to race, it's so big, heavy, unwieldy, cooks the tires. It's the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that's sport wide or just Monaco?
It's sport wide. It's sport wide.
Yeah.
It's just exacerbated by Monaco because Monaco brings that all into sharp attention because it's never been easy to pass in Monaco, even in the 90s. But I mean, Mansell was stuck behind Senna that time and he couldn't get past, even though he had a much superior car. But at least there was some chance or some kind of jeopardy. Whereas these cars, it's like, no, they're busts around Monaco.
Yeah, I mean, what typified it was Russell being caught behind his good friend Albon, getting frustrated, calling Albon names, very un-private school, and then just running through the Nouvelle chicane and taking the penalty, willing to take the drive-through penalty, willing to take any time penalty, but knowing that it was faster to exploit that, that curb than to stand behind him. It really exemplified the problems with the race. So
Yeah, I think that's true. But I think, well, it wasn't faster because he was a drive-through. Didn't he get a drive-through?
but
Yeah,
still
he thought he was gonna
mathematically
get-
it ended up being mathematically faster for him in the race they calculate than if he had stayed behind Albon the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
I mean,
my
that's
opinion
arguable.
is my opinion is Monaco should stay. Like, the thing about Monaco is it's fine to have, I think it's okay to have, I think the way it brings qualifying into focus,
Yeah,
and there are some guys that are great qualifiers and there are some guys that are great racers, and I think probably the best are good at both.
yeah.
But Monaco is Monaco. It'll always be Monaco. They won't change it. I agree with Mike that the cars are too big. I think we all know that. But the cars are not going to get much smaller. Like, if they're going to go with these hybrid electric systems, like they can't make the cars that much smaller. Trust me, they're trying, but
Mm.
they've all got to go somewhere, the battery and the MGUK and all that. It's not just an engine anymore. There's heaps of stuff that goes into the car, and they're not going to get heaps smaller. The teams are already panicking about next year, about the weight requirements and stuff going on. I'm not sure how we're going to do this. We're going to have to do it. So, yeah, I think Monaco is an exception, and I'm quite happy to have that. I don't mind it one race a year. One
Yeah.
race a year where quali is actually the race. I think it's okay. I don't mind it, because it makes quali way more exciting. It's
True.
edge of your seat for quali. And yeah, the race is boring, but
I love the
it's still
qualies normally.
interesting.
Yeah, for me the qualies are still always interesting, and the Sunday races are always boring. But this was exceedingly boring. This was worse than ordinary.
But
This-
I think
this
that that was because they made the 2 stops, right?
yeah.
That was a mistake. They
That
tried
was a
it
mistake.
and they thought it would work, and I actually didn't think it was a bad idea at the time.
I
But
know.
I'm not a full-time strategist, so
No.
they
When I heard
obviously
the
worked
idea, I
out
thought
what they
this
could
is
and couldn't do.
this is good. They're going for something. This will open it up. A lot of interesting undercuts and overcuts. But as we said, they gamed it.
Yeah.
How
I
about
thought
if
half the
they?
field-
Yeah,
I thought
sorry.
half the field would stop on lap 1 and just go, "I'm going to get
Yeah.
free air. Let's do this." But it was just the last few people.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
guess most of the teams were
Yeah.
banking on yellow flags,
Safety cars.
and safety cars, and
Mercedes was banking on safety cars for sure.
free
But that's
safety
the thing.
cars,
It doesn't.
but,
It doesn't happen when everyone's driving really slow. When they're driving 5 to 10 seconds a lap slower, no one's going to make a mistake. Like, no one's going to crash because I lost control, because they're driving slowly. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a catch-22.
All right, let's get into the actual race. So Norris back on top. Everyone was talking about, him losing his main character energy, Sigma, Skibbity. I've learned these words this week. I don't know what they mean. But he's back. He's caught back his aura. He's got back his girlfriend. It's all coming together for him.
Yeah,
Chris, how's
go ahead, Chris.
Vinyl? Is he suitable to name your firstborn child after?
I mean, his
I
surname
don't
is
know.
Calrissian.
Inside joke there, guys.
I think the surname's Calrissian.
Yeah, like
Yeah, no, credit
it's
to
funny.
Lando.
Like I totally misread qualifying. Like in my head, I still had old school Monaco in my head, where the brutality of driving and just the sheer bravery will win. Whereas I think Lando showed in qualifying that deft touch and not manhandling the car and be able to like float it over curbs and just like have the car dancing. That's what got the time around Monaco, because Piastri had that approach. Piastri like did the Alan Jones around Monaco, and he just couldn't get the clean fast lap together, while Lando just over the curbs after the swimming pool section, he was just sublime. It was really good to watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. Oscar was like, yeah, he was on the edge. It was exciting to see. He was on the limit, but like he said, he hit the wall more times than in his whole career. You know what I mean? He was like sliding.
He looked messy this weekend, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't have the, like you said, that touch, which is something he needs to learn. But yeah, credit to Lando. That's like, I mean, we all knew the race would probably get won on Saturday, so.
Well, none of us picked Lando.
None of us, exactly. Yeah.
You know, people were writing him off this season. They were saying, like, he didn't have this, he didn't have that. Questioning the man's character, man. Do we do that too often in Formula One? Or is it just the fun of it? Who knows? But yeah, he's opened up the title fight now. I mean, I'm looking for some standings.
There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. It's 3
right?
points, I think, between him and Oscar.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't pick that, because Lando's always been great on street circuits. He's always had that really deft touch in getting the car into the corner, using the front end and manipulating the car that way. So I don't know why. I was just thinking the guys who are more fast and aggressive.
Slow corner. Yeah, I was thinking more slow corner downforce cars would have the advantage, but, you know, maybe McLaren, they have the advantage everywhere. So it's Oscar with 161, Lando with 158, Max with 136, George Russell hanging in there with 99 points, and then the Ferrari duo, 79 to Charles, 63 to Lewis. Let's talk about Ferrari for a bit, guys. Give me some takes on Ferrari.
Charles Leclerc, year 7,
Monaco.
And nowhere near a World Drivers' Championship. The guy looked dejected after the race, even though he did obviously come second. I think he can see that like this was his opportunity to maybe have a win this year.
Yeah.
Where else is it going to come for Ferrari?
Yeah.
It's not likely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think credit to Charles, like to put it in second. Again, way ahead of Lewis. Yeah, he's like his qualifying is like electric, right? He really drives the wheels off thing around one lap. It's pretty special. One of the best qualifiers, I think, in the modern era. Obviously, Max is very special, but I think next to that, it's Charles on a one lap pace. Like he's balls out. Like he's really impressive.
I think he. Oscar and Max are the most talented drivers for mine, and he's probably he just hasn't got the car underneath him. But
the strategy, Mike.
The strategy,
After his qualifying, he said that he got balked on his first run, and his first run was the one. Apparently, he couldn't get it back for the second run. So
speaking of balked, Lewis Hamilton around what was it, Mirabeau? He got caught a snap of got caught off the wrong line, then snapped into the wall. He's having a tough season overall too. He's getting waxed by. No one expects him to really beat Charles, I don't think, given it's a new team and new system, everything like that. But he's looked frustrated all season long so far.
Yeah, and
just not finding home at all.
Yeah,
compounded by the grid penalty. Where does Lewis go from here?
He has to regroup.
Well, he's just got to keep trying. I mean, I think Lewis is actually buoyed by their general pace. because I think Ferrari are actually on a bit of an uptick.
Yeah.
So from where they started the season, I think their improvements have been making them faster. But yeah, I don't know. He's still
I just don't see him putting up with this for much longer. I think he thought this was going to be potentially a glorious return, but with the 8th championship out of his sight, would he just keep this up, being beaten so decisively by a younger teammate?
Has he got a case of the Ricardos?
He's got a case of the Ricardos.
Are you going to fight Lewis, or are you going to walk away? I mean, yeah, he's going to see out the season. I'm sure he's going to see out the season.
Oh, he'll see out the season for sure, but I just don't see him doing this for 3 years as his contract.
Well, next year it's all new, right? They're new cars next year, so who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows what
it's probably not in Ferrari's favour.
But tough times for Lewis for sure.
Yeah, but before next year, Chris, they're going to have to improve their radio communication. Like every race with Lewis, there's always some new farcical element. Like 2/3 of the way through Monaco, they told him, it's your race. He's like, what do you mean it's my race? Like, what am I doing to make it my race?
Well, it's also because that's them trying to be inspirational. Lewis, this is your race. You can go window row. They're so, I don't know. It doesn't sound right.
They just, And Lewis has come from Mercedes, where it's clear, minimal comms, only essential comms. You know what I mean? Let the driver concentrate. And to come to a culture Ferrari where it's, you're doing good, Lewis. Try pressing this button, Lewis. Try,
Well,
keep me behind 22 seconds. Keep me behind 22 seconds.
It must be the water. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're almost trolling half the time at Ferrari. But anyway. How about Racing Bull? Hadjar continues to impress. Yikes.
Big time, yeah.
Rookie of the year. Early call. But, dudes. Let's talk about Hadjar.
He's an emotional guy. Like, he's super intense in the car. He's screaming and shouting. And normally, like at the start of the season, I thought the guy clearly is a bit of a hothead, but can you temper that? But he's
short men, we can't help it.
he's tempered that in his driving. Like his driving, obviously started off on the wrong key in Australia massively, and he got the arm of Anthony Hamilton around him. But since then, he's found this pace in the car, a car that he said is very stable. It's very confident, inspiring to drive. Sounds exactly what a rookie like him or Liam Lawson would need, but he's taking more advantage of the car than Liam is.
He's coming 10th so far in the championship standings. He is first among rookies. He's ahead of Stroll, Sainz, Yuki, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hulkenberg, and Alonso, and all the other rookies.
Yeah.
The only one ahead of him actually is Kimi in the Mercedes, sorry. So not first amongst all rookies. But very impressive showing so far from the young Frenchman. Or where is he from?
How soon until he has a seat fitting at Red Bull, just in case?
Yeah, let's talk about that, guys. Is he going to take... Are they going to do a third swap this season? Like another swap? Sorry, a third driver in that seat?
I reckon they'll try against it, but I think they'll have a seat fitting and a simulator for him just to see, just in case.
Yeah, they'll have all their bases covered. I'm sure they'll be ready. I mean, if Yuki keeps crashing, then
I think they got to keep him.
I don't think he's done that bad, but
yeah, I think they need to find out what's wrong with the car and refine that to make it more drivable before they just keep on swapping drivers. Because if they bring over Isaac and that's a disaster again, then that just is a glaring, expose on how their system is failing them, not the drivers.
Yes.
And then it just spoils yet another talented driver's confidence and future. So if they F that up again with Isaac, I hope they take their time with this young guy because he's got talent. He's a good driver.
I totally agree with you, Mike. Absolutely.
Develop him slowly. Let him build. Yep. Alpine with a nothing burger of a weekend. What do we? Anything on that, guys?
I think they got no money.
Disastrous.
No money. They've got Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney. What's going? What are they spending their money on?
Is there a cost
cap?
Wreck them,
baby. Wreck them.
They've already had enough crashes during the season. Surely, maybe they're out of parts, not money. I don't know. Like Doohan destroyed a few. Pierre Gasly had a crash during the race. I think they probably told Colapinto after that, they're like, drive even slower, because he made no effect whatsoever the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, Argentinian fans. He was amazing. But yeah, apart from that.
But I'll also say, was there any penalty for Gasly for driving around the track and throwing crap everywhere and then going to pit lane with no brakes? Like he said, I've got no brakes halfway through his
And he didn't pull over, yeah.
lap to the pits, and then went into the pit lane with no brakes, and other teams had to stop the car, like other pit crews, because he couldn't stop in his box. So other pit crews literally had to physically stop his car. Like, was there any penalty for that?
There should have been, because I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw him drive around. I'm like, there are so many places. Like, he could have just gone straight on after the tunnel into that little lay-by, and there's a little thing there to pick up the car and take it away. Whilst we're on that, did anyone see Indy 500 and see Robert Schwartzman's pit entry?
Pit stop. Yeah. That was sad. It was sad to see, I must say. For a guy.
This guy took out his whole.
Hang on, wait. Let me bring it up on video so people watching know what we're talking about.
Sorry.
Well, just for reference, rookie on pole, like at Indy 500.
Yes.
And the race did not go.
Okay, I'm sharing this Indy thing just so people know what Vinyl's talking about.
But yeah, like I'm amazed that Gasly didn't get a penalty.
I'm gonna cut the sound out. So sorry, be off topic, viewers, but we can't. We're like a film. We can't talk about it and then not show it. We can't talk about the smoking gun. So, talk us through what's happening here.
So Takuma Sato overruns his pit first, and then runs up one of the gun lines, and then Schwartzman comes in way too hot.
Holy shit!
Into the wall and takes out half his pit crew.
Oh my God, Lance Stroll rolling in his grave. That's not how you do it.
Well, Schwartzman's an ex-Ferrari junior, so maybe he's channeling a bit of Ferrari pit strategy. But
poor guy's knees. That guy's knees wrecked. Oh, I'm sorry to laugh. Oh, they need to start wearing knee pads.
And then they couldn't fix the nose. I'm not sure if they didn't want to fix the nose and they retired the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have any pit crew left to do future pit stops. So they're just like, no, half our crew's down. It's time out.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I hadn't seen that, so thanks. Let's finish up with Mercedes before we move off from Monaco in terms of the race. Day late and $1 short, as they said on the commentary. Bad quality, held to the train. Just a bad day.
Yeah, like the mistake started off with Antonelli in qualifying. It's a pretty avoidable kind of mistake. Just took out the front left suspension on that apex.
Yeah,
it was pretty avoidable. It wasn't in Q3 going for glory. It was, it was early on and very avoidable. And reliability for Russell.
Yeah, I mean, it was sad, but I would say for them the only thing I would really criticise was to have both their guys on the same strategy. I was like, they're line and astern. Even if you're banking on your best case scenarios, they're going to be a safety car or something. Both someone dives into the pits, takes the advantage. You can't do that with two guys traveling line and astern. Someone's going to have to wait for the other guy to pit, so he's going to get screwed. So I don't understand what they were thinking. We'll just both go on the same strategy. Like, that just seemed foolish from the outset. Like, you got nothing to lose. You're way at the back already. You might as well split the strategies and hope one of them's right. Like, you not both get that, because they can't both be right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if, So I thought, just dumb from them. Dumb race, and they didn't, they finished where they deserved to finish.
Yeah. Like, you could have just pitted one of them on lap 1, pitted the same car in lap 2, got 2 pit stops out of the way, put them on hard tyres and run them to the end. Just something crazy, because it's Monaco.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense.
So Monaco wasn't boring all weekend. Let's look at the F2 race. This kind of brings into point what you're saying, Vinyl, about how with a bit of adjustment with the size, we could get excitement. Let's look at this.
It was interesting because they interviewed Isaac Hadjar about driving an F2 car. And
Yeah.
he's, because an F2 car is 10 seconds lap slower. And an F1 car just brakes so much later and has so much more corner speed. There's just less of that margin to be able to do something around Monaco compared to an F2
No,
car.
definitely.
Den Weg da oben suchen ins
The Monaco historics is actually pretty amazing.
Yeah. Look at this.
The track's blocked.
Look at the pile up. I don't know about you, but that looks exciting to
Is
me.
that-
That looks like the Lego race that we had a couple of weeks ago. I'd pay for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the difference is boys and men a little bit. Like, you know,
What
Because these-
Lego and cars?
no. What I'm saying, Max and Oscar could have easily done that in the first corner. Also, Lando and Charles. You know what I mean? But they all had the sense. One of them realized that it wasn't going to happen, and they backed off the last minute. You know, so they made it work. But
But I think
you know, I mean, I
even
don't think a
visually
block track
though,
is.
even visually, you can see cars can fit on that track much more feasibly than the F1 cars. Just the width of them, the difference of scale.
But that's the point. They didn't though. They blocked the whole circuit.
But at least they go for it. Do
Little
you know what I
cars.
mean? Because they were three
Yeah.
wide, but they're going for it because they can get it done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I see your point. Yeah, I see your point.
But I mean, you're right. That they did. It wasn't a successful move, but at least there was action.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have K-Mag and we don't have Checo this year, do we? To spice up the
Yeah.
first couple of corners.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
That's
round
right.
out with Monaco changes. Extreme. Give me an extreme change. If you were freaking the Prince of Albert, you could do anything to the track. You could remodel the city. What would you do? You could bring a jackhammer to the streets of Piscine. What would you do to change the layout of Monaco? Come on, give me something creative.
Not a thing, to be honest. Not a thing. I
mean,
love
that's-
every corner. I love their
That's
names.
podcasting, but let's think of something. What would you do? Give us a take.
Old long straight with a hairpin and all that cliched stuff that they do on tracks to make overtaking possible, but does it make it exciting? Not necessarily, because everyone knows where that overtake's going to come, so it's actually not exciting, you know, with DRS and all that. Like, I think trying to create artificial, you know, overtaking is not that exciting. Like, it doesn't
How about the
actually
race
work that
itself
well.
then? How about the race then? Do they need to... Because I think they're on the right track with the pit stops. Maybe like they were suggesting during the show, they time the pit, like to make them one, you know, per half of the race so that they can't just double pit. What do you think of that? Or is that going to cause more troubles that we haven't foreseen and these Strat guys are going to freaking game again?
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, within the confines of obviously a limited amount of space, could you resurface parts of the track that had more grip on the inside or outside only to encourage like overtaking and have a push to pass on the car as well, so that because DRS is obviously ineffective, if they had a limited amount of push to pass per race, and they could, like IndyCar, and they could deploy that for a short periods when they were close. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, the point is they will have push to pass next year, won't they? Isn't that a new feature they're introducing? Like they will
I'm
have.
not sure. I think that's a maybe point for the next podcast.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna have
they're
to do
going
some
to have
research
like
about that.
extra battery power to be able to, you know, imply. I mean, a bit like they have already.
But just an
but
overtake
maybe
mode,
they're
but
just
with a bit more
rebranding
oomph.
it. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I think we need to wait to see next year, because when you have a new car, they're pretty different cars. They're a bit smaller, probably not small enough. I mean, I agree with Mike. Ultimately, they've got to be smaller and more nimble, and you've got to be able to fit cars side by side on the circuit, obviously, to have overtaking. But if you can't have both, like if you want to go down the sustainable route and have all this battery technology and all this other stuff, that takes space. Like you got to put it somewhere. It's got to go in the car.
I was suggesting
can't
more like
make
push
small-
to pass as like a big turbo button, you know, with flames out the exhaust and more boost, rather than a bigger battery.
This is really turning into Mario Kart.
Yeah, well, I'm down for that. I like flames.
Max has bananas.
But-
We've got Mario Kart.
Bananas,
Okay.
sprinklers. We're getting creative
Yeah.
here. We're getting crazy.
That's
But,
what
you know,
Monaco
I
makes
think
you. Monaco makes you a bit crazy.
Yeah, guys. I still look forward to it every year, dudes. It's still to me the most exciting weekend as a whole spectacle, even though it never truly delivers. I still look forward to it. I don't know.
It's
I'm a
not May.
sucker.
It's not May without Monaco. You know, it's May.
It's not May
it's
without
Monaco.
Monaco.
it's still
It's not summer
the,
without
you
a
know,
Monaco bar.
Yeah.
The closest we get to it in Australia.
Yep.
And I think if we want F1 to be F1, we need these iconic circuits.
Oh, for
'Cause
sure.
without
It's not
them-
going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
It's not the F1 we know, right? And they keep falling away. So
Yeah.
let's not shit
And
on
it's the
Monaco.
best. It's the best quali for me by far. Like it's thrilling. The quali.
course it
Do
is.
you know what I mean? It's
Because there's
it's
track
fantastic.
limits. There's
There's
track limits.
Yeah.
It's a wall.
Like
It's
concrete track limits. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's great. It's still, I still like it. Like it is what it is. As long as they don't all become like Monaco, that's fine. Like
Just
I don't want to see
end
them
it on
building
Saturday.
new.
Like Vinyl said, just show's over.
Well,
Hand out
as
the
long
trophies.
as we're not building new
Yeah.
circuits that are street circuits that you can't pass on,
Mm.
I think that would be a great shame for F1 if cities with lots of money wanted to, you know, like New York or something or whatever,
Okay.
and then, you know, they introduced circuits where you can't pass. That's the main thing. That's the road we don't want to go down.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
Monaco because it's history. It's always been there. You know, and there'll be some fantastic, iconic races at Monaco, and there will be still in the future for different reasons.
All right.
But yeah, Monaco's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Just
let's-
don't do more Monacos.
Let's have a look at something else for fun, guys. Let's finish on Monaco. I'm sick of it. Let's look at
What
the
do you got
F1
for us,
game.
Mike?
The
Oh,
F1 game, guys. It's coming out in a month. You guys are going to be camping at my house. Get off my couch. This is going to be great fun. Let's look at the driver ratings. That's what people have been talking about.
Is
the
it
last
only
couple of
current
weeks.
driver ratings, or can you choose like last year's drivers? Can you choose?
I think it's only
Joe
current
Guan
drivers.
Yu? Oh,
They haven't got historical this year,
No.
I'm
It
afraid.
can't be Joe.
I wish they would have historical. That would be sick. But let's start from the bottom, guys. So the four
So Lance
ratings
Stroll,
they've
the
got. No,
Oh.
he's above the rookies. But what we got is the four categories are experience, racecraft, awareness, and pace. So at the bottom, let's look at the rookies first. Let's look at the rookies, okay? So we got Isaac Hadjar, 68. I mean, all the rookies have the same amount of experience, roughly, but weird. Okay, Isaac Hadjar, 68. But then we have Kimi, 72, Jack Doohan, 73, Bortoletto, 74, and Behrman, 74. What do you think of the rookies' ratings? Who's higher? Who's too high? Who's too low?
I think Doohan is very lucky. Doohan's very privileged. There's some Australian developers of this game, surely.
Doohan got a good patch.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, to be ahead of Kimi, like, how do you get ahead of Kimi? I don't know.
And Isaac Hadjar, hard done by. He's faster than that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Look at
yeah.
his pace. His pace is 72. All the other rookies are 76, 78, 77, and 73. They consider him the slowest of the rookies on pace alone.
Yeah, and like
don't
Liam
know.
Lawson, his teammate is a cut above, literally, at 80.
Yeah, Lawson getting high marks there.
And he's a rookie, isn't he? Kind of a
85.
rookie.
Yeah. Pace 85 for Lawson. Any other final comments on the rookies? Who's anyone too else too high, too low?
Well, I think Bortoletto is actually pretty quick.
He's an F2 winner.
He's
F2
don't forget
champion.
he's in the slowest car by a long
Yeah.
way. Like
Yeah.
he's driving that car pretty well, I think, in my opinion.
Rearrange the
Driving
rookies
the
for
worst
me,
car.
Vinyl. Rearrange those rookies, those 5 rookies.
Yeah, I think you got to say it's. Is it?
Chris.
Go, Chris. Is
Well,
it
do it.
Antonelli first?
Do it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going from slowest to
Oh,
quickest.
slowest. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry, I would go Doohan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like I'm. For me, the jury's out on Bortoletto. Like, I'm not sure how quick he is because
Yeah.
that car's so
Yeah,
rubbish.
same.
I feel like he's actually pretty quick, and
Okay.
so I don't know. I would put
I'd put Behrman down at the bottom next to
Hadjar
Doohan.
the quickest.
Yeah.
Hadjar the quickest of the rookies and put the other two level like line and string. I put them together.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the bottom of the midfield, let's call it. Lance Stroll, man. They did my boy dirty.
It was the sun in my eyes.
78.
It was the sun in my eyes. I couldn't see if it was a Ferrari or it was.
Yeah, or I couldn't hear you on the radio.
He's got 78 for awareness, which is freaking incredible. I think he makes it up with experience just because he's been in the sport for 10 years. But 78 for Lance Stroll, above only the rookies. Oh, yeah. Poor Lance. The window licker. Let's move on. Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki at 82, Liam Lawson at 80.
I think Liam's a little bit too high, I think. They saw his form at the end of last year. This guy's good, but yeah, he hasn't shown that form this year. I guess Yuki's he's a bit more experienced and a similar, if not faster, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Albon's been a bit of a
Albon got hard. Albon, I think, is a bit low here.
Yeah, he's shown real speed this year.
I would have put Albon in the next tier for sure. He deserves to be in that row up.
Far out. That's harsh. Yeah.
Sorry?
Hulkenberg.
And then Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg's about right there.
About right, yeah. Yeah, I think he's about right. I think Esteban Ocon's a bit overrated. I'd rate him below Hulkenberg.
I'd swap Esteban and Albon.
Yeah.
Gasly? Actually, I'd put Albon maybe tie with Gasly.
Yeah, I'd put Albon tied with Gasly. Would you tie it with Sainz, though? Like Albon and Sainz, I think, are pretty close this year.
I'd put Hulkenberg and Albon ahead of... I think you're right. And I'll put Gasly. I think Gasly and Albon are probably about the same.
Piastri here is very low. Before we get to the top row.
Yeah, sorry.
Before we get to the top, let's finish off the second row.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Oscar Piastri, 87. He's hurt by his experience here. He's got high race craft awareness, 86. So his awareness is higher than freaking Alonso's. And pace 87, on pace with Alonso and Hamilton. 87 for Piastri. Too high, too low?
Well, it's just a rating system, right? I mean, experience shouldn't matter. All it matters really is pace, how quick you are, and maybe racecraft.
I think they're not weighted evenly. They're not weighted evenly. So when they come to their final rating, it's not an average of those four numbers.
Yeah. Well, I still think, Piastri, that's way too low. He should be top tier, I think.
Yeah, same. I think he should be.
Tier. He's performing at the top tier.
Looking above him, I think he should be 92. I would put him 92. But that's not. I haven't readjusted the top row yet. Let's talk about the two OGs, the 240 somethings in the crowd. 88
Hamilton,
for Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, 89. This has got to hurt for Sir Lewis. What do we think of those two numbers?
I mean, if you look at the ones above, they're only like 1 point ahead, 90 and 91. So it does seem disappointing to be on the second row, but from the speed he's shown this year, I don't think he could argue that he's going to be
true that.
Yeah.
Chris? Yeah. As great as they are, their legacies, I think their time, it seems about right.
Well, quit while you're ahead, mate, is my advice. Quit while you're on top.
Literally, that's the race cliche.
He would have been on top of the game.
Carlos should quit while he's at 90.
Carlos Sainz, 90. Is Carlos... Is that right?
A few Spanish developers in the house.
No.
Yeah,
obviously.
Where we at with Carlos, Mike? Tweak Carlos for me.
Carlos down to like 87.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
High 80s, but he's not.
My adjustment for the front row, right? I'll go and then you guys tell me how you would adjust it, okay? Yeah. For my top 5, I would have Max 95. Actually, I have Max 97, right?
Yeah.
I'd have Charles next at 93. Oscar 92. Lando 90. George 90. Something like that. How about you guys? Who wants to go next? It's all freaking, for fun.
I like it, but what I'm wondering is, do the ratings factor in the car? You know what I mean? What actual car they're driving?
No car.
Okay, so it's just the driver.
That's right. Yeah. This is them in go-karts.
I think you're pretty much spot on, Mike. Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on.
Yeah, I think Mike's spot on. I probably wouldn't have such
And
a
I put Lewis in
huge
that. I put
4-point
Lewis
gap
in that.
between Max and everyone else.
Yeah, that's a bit rich, yeah.
It's a bit rich, and I think that like I'd put Lando. I don't know, like I think Oscar.
Who's
and
better,
Lando
Lando or Charles and Oscar? Yeah, reorder those for me.
I'd put Charles higher than both Oscar and Lando. I'd put Lando and Oscar the same.
Yeah,
And I'd put Charles
okay.
1 point higher because they both have their strengths and weaknesses in driving. And I think, as you can see in the World Championship so far, they're basically equal for Lando and for Oscar.
I like that.
But I think that Charles is like, I don't know, like maybe he hasn't got. No, he has. He has got the raw speed and he's got the determination. He's got pretty good racecraft too. He just hasn't got the car. He's a great driver.
He has that. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's got that X factor that they talk about, right? Maybe it's just
he never switches off. He never sort of goes, "Oh, what are you doing, Charles?" Mid-race.
I honestly don't know whether he's good or it's just those sexy freaking eyes, man. They just pierce my soul. How about George Russell? Where does George Russell lay in this top five?
George is right up there. No, I think George is right up there as well.
Is he shoulder to shoulder with Lando and Piastri, or a step below?
Yeah. I think I don't know is my answer, my honest answer. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know because we haven't seen him consistently at the front.
Oh, hang on, Michael. Sorry, we've got a technical issue. Chris, you got an incoming call that's blocking the recording.
I think that was a while ago, dude.
Oh, was it? Okay, so we're back? Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so Vinyl, you finish your point.
Yeah, I think he's probably equally just as fast, but he hasn't got as much experience near the front because of the car. So I think you have to put him a point behind Lando and Oscar just because he hasn't had that front of race winning kind of recent experience.
Yeah, I don't know how they've figured this stuff out. Look at this.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the way they've figured these out, I really disagree. They've got Lando and Charles kind of and George on par with each other, which I agree with, but they've got Lando's pace at 94 and Charles's pace at 90. And where he makes it up for over Lando is his awareness. I don't know. I'd be interested to see how they come up with these things.
I don't know what pace means when it doesn't take the car into account. Like
how fast they can drive.
Oh shit! Isn't that all that matters?
Well, there's also racecraft awareness.
You could go really fast and not be able to know how to overtake, and also have no awareness like Lance Stroll. So,
yeah.
So for me, experience is like ability to time your runs, avoid incidents, and so on. You know, racecraft.
But the team does half of it. I feel like the team does half of that.
Experience is also managing tires, Mike.
And they do the other half.
Tires.
Yeah.
True.
Racecraft and awareness seem like two factors that are very similar. How would you split that?
Yeah.
Racecraft is overtaking.
Awareness of what? Exactly?
Awareness is not swerving into other cars like Latifi and Stroll.
So high racecraft, poor awareness, Stroll.
Yeah, that's right. I can overtake, but just like blue flags, I got no idea.
Oh, this is fun. I like to look at these numbers and stuff. I don't know why. It's just like geeking me out. I like it. All right. Are we done here?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Well, we want the game now, okay? We've looked at the numbers. We want the freaking game. We want to play it.
Okay.
Chris, your screen is the wrong way. Disney's teamed up with F1. Let's do a quick take on this. What the hell, man, is happening to our beloved sport? What's next? I mean, you know, I miss the days of good branding. Cigarettes, tobacco, the things that are pure in life.
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker, you know.
Not Heineken 0.0.
Bitcoin, e-commerce. You know, what is this Disney F1 collaboration? What is happening to the world? Any thoughts on that?
Well, Bin Sulayem got rid of the swearing, so Disney's on board.
Oh,
yeah, well said, Mike. I mean, money talks, right? It's the hottest property at the moment, you know. It's making a lot of money. Liberty have done really well. Like, it's growing, you know. Yeah, so everyone wants a piece.
It'll be exciting to see where they go. Just a bunch of toys, I think. But, yeah, maybe in danger of getting a bit oversaturated, our beloved sport, you know. I'd like to see more ground. I don't know. rather than all this hype and promotion, I'd like to see more, grassroots promotion with F2, seeing that develop, even a go-karting league that develops the drivers, that we can monitor drivers as they progress all the way from F4 to F1 and, follow their entire careers. I think that's a sustainable business model. Just like, say, in America, where we follow college, high school sports before they get to the pros.
Yeah.
Something like that would be cool. I see F1 investing all its money in the top end and in the temporary fans rather than in the long-term health of the sport.
I think what I'd like to see is them more, rather than this new stuff, I'd like to see them honouring the guys that made the sport what it is, right?
Yeah.
So some more like features on some of the great team principals. Like some of these guys are incredible people with incredible stories. Like, let's see some of that. Like, featuring some of the great team principals over the years, some of the great drivers, some of the great mechanics. The guys that really made the sport what it is and what inspired us to get into it. Like,
good point.
Yeah. Honor
really
its
good point,
history,
Chris,
right? Honor its history to create the audience rather than making new stuff that's Mickey Mouse. Like, forget that. Like, it's already,
And that
it's
way it builds
real
so much
and
brand
it's-
equity as well. It builds
Yeah.
so much
Yeah,
brand
exactly.
brand
Let's go
equity
back
into what
to-
F1 is. Because in the end, they're presenting a product. And if the product's all diluted, no matter how much money you throw at it, if the core product's not that interesting, people aren't that invested in it, again, they can be temporary
Exactly.
fans. And you can go, look, that's not flavour of the month. I'm off to the other sport that's new and flashy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's honor the
Okay.
legends that made it legendary. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here.
Monaco picks. Let's look at our picks before we round out.
Oh,
It wasn't too bad at all. Okay, so the point system is we get 1 point for each correct driver in the top 3, irrespective of their position. An extra point is awarded if you get the right position, and an extra point for picking the correct winner. So the maximum points you can get any given weekend is 7. All right. So obviously we had Oscar, Charles, Lando. Let me write this down here.
On the point scoring system, Mike, what if one of the drivers you picked qualified 15th and cut the chicane? Does that get any kind of like Jeopardy points, or was that just a terrible pick by me?
Bonus points if you can pick it happening. So Vital, you picked Leclerc, Max, Russ. So you got two out of the 3. Oh, actually 2. Wait, you got 1 point. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, Leclerc came second. And
Anything
then
else? Okay, so
Max
you got 1
came-
point.
Max came 4th.
Yeah. Okay,
that's
so
fine.
I got Leclerc, Oscar, Max. I got 2 out of 3, but none in the right position, so I got 2 points. And Chris, you got Max, Oscar, Leclerc.
so 2 out of 3,
So 2 out of 3,
Two out of 3.
but wrong position.
but wrong position. So all in all, 1, 2, 2, Monaco. It's early days. What are our picks for the next one, guys? Next one being Spain.
Barca.
Spain,
Right,
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Another
Okay.
one of
that's
my
right.
Picks,
least
guys.
favorite tracks.
The true aero track.
Yeah.
Well, an aero track has got to be an aero car, and that's McLaren.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
So, I don't know. Lando, he's got the Midas touch going. I'm going to pick Lando, then Oscar, and then it's who's going to be fast? Who's going to be fast and
I don't know, I'm going to
consistent?
copy you guys.
We're not going to help
That's why
you.
I'm going
We're not
last.
going to. We're competing here.
Dude, this is...
I'm thinking out loud. Okay, so Lando, Oscar. Let's just go Charles. Let's go Charles. His dejected face can be on the podium again.
Chris, or do you want to go last? I'll go...
I don't
I'll
mind.
go Oscar. I'm going to mix it up. I'll go Oscar, Max, George. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Where's
I don't know
Lando
why.
going to be?
I don't know. I think he's gonna
Crash.
he's gonna F it up after
Bottle
having
it
such
in
a
quali.
after having such a marvelous weekend. He's
Chris?
gonna he's gonna let it get to his head a little bit. What about you, Chris?
I'll go Oscar, Lando, Max. It's not very exciting, but yeah.
That's the safe bet, I think.
So has the Red Bull got the
that's a smart
pace?
bet.
Has the Red
That's a
Bull
smart
got this
money.
long run aero pace?
Red Bull is
It's hard to
not
tell.
to be
So hard
discounted,
to
right?
tell.
And neither is Max, yeah.
Look what happened to Imola. Imola, Max just had their measure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If Max gets in front, if he can put it on pole or get in front, I don't. It's pretty hard to beat, right? Like we know how good he is.
It's
But
been
yeah, I still think with the fast circuit, high speed corners, I think McLaren.
Yeah.
McLaren.
It's
track,
McLaren.
right?
Yeah, I'm just going against the grain so I can make up some points. Anyway, that's been the Cooldown Room, Monaco. Thank you for joining us, Recreate Play. It was fun.
Thank you, everyone. That was fun. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.